Worst Date. I'm Cassie.
I'm Keegan.
I'm Christina.
And ladies, we have not recorded in 2025 yet.
Prepare.
And man, I feel it.
It's going to be chaos.
Listeners, prepare yourself. Prepare yourself.
We haven't talked that much either because the holidays were happening.
Yeah.
And we have like our group thread and we were like checking in on that and stuff. But we were all pretty busy. So we haven't had the chance to just like download and chisme and talk about everything that's been going on in our lives.
I had 3 weeks off of work. I feel so refreshed.
Oh,
I feel like
my God.
I'm at a place where I'm like, I'm ready to go back to work. Like,
you look like a different person, Cassie, truly.
I feel the same fucking way. I'm like, I got 2 days of absolute couch rotting in.
God.
Amazing.
Of reading books. I've read 3 books.
That's amazing.
And I'm like, oh my God, it just feels incredible.
This might play into the fuck, marry, kill that I had in mind because I also just read 2 books just back to back. I sent you one.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
I mean, you're reading spicy books.
Yeah, like come on.
I've already read all those.
You did.
Yeah,
you read that second one? King of Pride.
Anna,
she's good.
Her 4th one just came out. Anna Huang, by the way.
Yeah.
No affiliate link. No / my worst date or anything like that. But if you're in the mood for a spicy novella, it's she does enemies to lovers really well.
Really well.
Yeah.
Really well.
Yeah.
She gives you that like hanging tension, allows you to build that tension before, because the tension is the hot, right? It's the hottest part. Well,
yeah.
Probably
she
read,
wrote
like,
Twisted Hate, right?
Oof, girl.
Yeah. Great.
Yeah.
Probably one of my favorite like spicy erotic novels.
Yeah.
I can't disagree. With you. Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, I have not been reading high literature either.
No.
I mean, when I say I read 3 books, I was finishing up the Sarah J. Maas ACOTAR series.
Okay.
Yeah.
I hadn't read the final book. So and then I realized there was another half book. So I read the half book and I'm almost done with the final book. And then what else did I read? Not a very, very good book, but it was the one that got me like back into it. I was like, oh, now this makes me want to read this and this.
Yeah.
Because I got a Remarkable tablet for Christmas because Eric knows my organization heart.
This is
so
good. Did you even ask for it?
No.
Listen, a gift when somebody really knows you. There really isn't truly anything better. I will still, my husband's got me diamond necklace, things like this. And I'm like, my favorite gift from him, what happened in like 1 year? Like he got me 2 gifts that were so perfect that.
Spot on. Yeah.
So spot on. They were so me. I know I've talked about them before. It's just like having someone really know you on a real cellular level and like what will get you, like, I'm almost emotional about it. Like that says everything.
Yeah. It's and look, I'll show you on the Skype. It looks like a little composition notebook that I can put like Lisa Frank stickers and shit on there.
The way Eric knows you so hard right now. Like,
speaking of stickers, so we put this up on our Patreon, but I wanted to extend it to the wider Worsty family. We are planning on overhauling our merch this year. So we're going to spruce up our merch store. So if you have suggestions for quotes from the show or moments from the show that you really like, that you want to see on a t-shirt or a mug or what have you, please send them in. Go to our website and send us an email and let us know what you like. And then once we have the new merch styles launched, we thought it would be really fun to do a giveaway for everybody.
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be fun. I really liked, somebody had mentioned the friend of the pod one. I thought that was fun.
Oh yeah. Cute.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And I think too, along with giveaways, we can take a look at like donating some to like causes that we believe in.
100%.
That kind of thing.
Yeah.
I know that we don't, it's not a political podcast or anything like that, but we are very active in what's going on. And, we received a great email from a listener recently, Simone. So want to give you a shout out and let you know it's heard, it's received. It's often difficult to weave that kind of thing into our funny little dating show. But, there is still a lot going on in Gaza that we are very concerned about, and we want to maybe take a look at ways that we can help out. So thank you for sending suggestions in always. It was very thoughtful, and keep a lookout and come with us as a community. You can help too.
Yeah. I mean, and it's January 2025.
Yep.
We got to ready ourselves for the next 4 years. Everybody buckle up. I'm genuinely feeling, and maybe it's just that new year kind of feeling, but I am feeling hopeful, question mark.
I'm tenuous. Let's put it that way.
Yes, I know. I am too.
I was listening to one of our favorite podcasts, and with somebody we've actually had on before, Anna Hosnier was talking about on Daily Zeitgeist, one of the episodes, she was saying that her birth control was back ordered. And I was like, I think that it probably is, everybody is trying to prepare.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think it has anything to do with the availability of it because of, political, you know what I mean?
Where I feel we're at, and I think this is why I feel hopeful, or I'm able to say that I feel hopeful, is because I think in 2016, this is not going to sound hopeful for the first half of this comment, because I think in 2016, we all kind of believed that the system would take care of it. Like, we were like, it'll right itself. It always has. It's going to be okay. And this time, I think we're like, oh, no. Like, fuck the system. This isn't going to work. So we have to figure out on an individual level how to take care of ourselves and each other. And that's what I'm seeing a lot of people doing. So it's looking at it and saying, okay, I'm not that you shouldn't be doing this, definitely do this, whatever. But like, I'm tired of writing to my congressperson. I'm tired of writing to my senator. I'm tired of getting together and doing letter writing parties and doing that. What can I do? And I've got a second bedroom. I live in a state that still has full reproductive right access. If somebody contacts me from a state that needs help, what can I do to help that individual? Can I, help raise funds to get you a plane ticket and let you stay in my apartment while you get the care that you need? Can I do that? You know what I mean? Like, things like that. And I'm feeling like a lot of people are feeling that way. Like, they're like, all right, we're maybe there's going to be reproductive right, limited access. So can I order a bunch of birth control right now? Can I get ahead of it? Can I do this stuff? So that's what's making me feel hopeful, is that people are like, all right, what happened in the past, it didn't work. So how can we do something different this time to prepare ourselves going forward?
I feel like it's a year of community. I really do. I feel like we're going back to like, how can we help each other out, like, locally? I do really feel that community spirit. So, we've got a great community here with Worsties. So, any suggestions, again, like with the merch, and that is one way I think that we can help out, by you buying a mug. It might be, a great way to help out, a lot of these different charities that we've talked about, or causes that we've talked about over the years, like women's reproductive rights, Gaza, BLM, lots of places need our help. And this is one way we can help.
If you have suggestions for organizations that we can take a look at, please go ahead and send those in. Maybe at some point, once we have all the merch launched, we can do a poll on our Patreon for, which one to start out with, which organization we can, help out, first. So if you have suggestions on organizations that you would like to be included in that, I think the Center for Reproductive Rights has to be in there. Feel free to send those in, and we'll get moving on that. I really do feel very motivated this year. I do. So far, we're 4 days in.
I think that too. And like you said, Christina, Simone sent a really wonderful email that was very, very well thought out and put together. I think that we talk a lot about reproductive rights because we are a dating podcast. And I think that is something that we feel is very important to our listeners. Not that other things aren't important. I just think that it's a way that it's something that we are a little bit more, it's something that easily can come up. It can easily come up in our lane. Exactly. So.
Yeah, but here's to driving out of the lane in 2025 and doing what we can to help each other out. because we love you so much. Say it. Cheers. Cheers.
Yeah, I told Christina, I was like, we should make some merch that says we love you so much on it. I think that there needs to be something that says we love you so much.
Cheers.
Because I don't know how that became a thing, but
I love it. I remember.
I remember
because Christina just kind of said it one time, and I remember being after that. I was like, I really like the way you did that. That was so fun. And I remember us like that just kind of became part of our regular recording.
It's our ending tagline.
We're 7 this year, guys.
Girl.
7.
Oh my God, we're in like
insane.
second grade.
I know. Totally. No, it's gonna be a wild ride. But keep telling all your friends. I'm going to transition into something completely different now.
Okay.
I told Eric I was going to talk about this on the podcast too, but so I did an everything shower.
Oh,
before we went to Vegas.
God, there are a few things I love more.
I had to take like a weed whacker down there.
Yeah.
It was
You gotta do what you gotta do.
It was bananas, right?
Get that winter puss.
Oh,
Exactly.
Yeah. Dude, can we talk? I know we've talked about this before. We had to have, but like the way getting in, like the lips situation, and then you'll think you've got it taken care of, and there will be like one errant spiky hair.
Yeah.
You're like, what the fuck?
Where are you even?
How?
Where are you coming from?
How did I miss that one? It's in the middle, you know?
So I've talked on this podcast before how I love my vagina. I love it. It keeps high and tight. It's very like tucked away, very pretty puss.
Yeah.
What's it feel like to be God's favorite?
No,
right.
No. I'm going to turn 43 on Monday.
Uh-oh.
Did you reveal something new?
No, I feel like my vaginal lips are sagging like an old man's balls.
No,
do.
shut up. No, Christina.
Look, do they do that?
Not that I want to take a up close look at your vagina, but I kind of feel like I need to see it for myself. I'm like, I think that this is.
Do we have a before and
I
after?
think this is imagined. Yeah, I do. I'm like, I think this is imagined.
I feel like my lips are sagging. Like I really do.
Girl. I think you're being overly critical. I think maybe you haven't seen it fully in a while.
You know, I don't know. But I'm like wondering if they're going to swing like an old man's balls do.
If that, first of all, what a mental image. But that might be the biggest incentive I've heard yet to go ahead and just start with the laser. Just go ahead and pay for it. Because I do feel, you know what? I do sense that sometimes. The older you get, the more aware you are of like when you're making weird faces and you're like, oh, it's gonna get stuck that way, and I'm gonna get like, weird shit. Yeah. But I have thought that because look, in order to get those hairs on the inside of the lips, you got to do some stretching. You got to do some pulling to really get in there, and like
it feels looser.
You're just using it more, maybe.
Maybe that's a testament to Eric.
Maybe,
wearing it out.
But that was one of my first New Year thoughts. Was is my pussy sagging?
It's just gonna be flapping in the wind.
Oh my god, like Dumbo Ears.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Dumbo Ears should be the name of this episode.
Okay, weird.
No, I mean, listen, there's what all does vaginal rejuvenation entail? Is it all interior?
Or is there an exterior as well?
Yeah,
I know it was a big thing for
work.
porn stars to do for a while. Like,
well, I know you can get like a labiaplasty.
Yes.
Right? Like if you have like a big situation and you want a minute. But this is all insane.
I know.
It truly is. It's just like, does it
just be different? Okay, guys. Like,
and the way that I feel about
pussy.
this, because we had a conversation years ago with someone who will not be named, but we were talking about, she was telling me about a boyfriend, and she's got a great husband now, but she'd had some pretty shitty boyfriends. And she was talking about a boyfriend who, when they were having sex, like afterwards told her that like she had a hairy asshole.
Don't ever say.
And she was telling me, because I had that reaction, and she was telling me like, oh no, I was grateful that he told me so that I could take care of it. Like, wouldn't you want to know? And I was like, first of all, almost everyone does. So like, that's just, you got to do the best you can back there.
Yep.
But Secondly, and this is what I told her, and this is how I feel about a labiaplasty or a saggy lips or like whatever it is, you should just be grateful to be here. Okay, like
honey, exactly.
It doesn't matter what I got going on down there. Like, you should just be grateful. Well, as long as it's 100%, yes. But I mean, like, and I think it's courteous to try and, make sure everything is clean and tidy.
Of course.
Right? Like, I think that's courteous. But you should just be happy that I'm letting you into my sacred space.
Truly.
For you to have your fun. Okay?
How would you, though, like to handle constructive criticism about lady bits or boy bits?
I will be honest.
I prefer shaved. It makes it easier and more enjoyable for me to give you a blowjob. Would be a nice way, I feel like, of saying, shave your fucking balls. You know what I mean?
I actually don't like a shaved ball, if I'm honest. I think it's kind of grody.
Well, see, and everybody has their preferences.
And that's how you approach it. Personally, I like this. And to be honest, like, if you like it fully shaved, that can't be me. We're not compatible then. Like, if you like my vagina to be completely bald, then
the way I feel
can't
about
be that way.
I
don't like it.
I feel it the same way that I would want it for myself, which is like, I'm going to do what I want to do. For me, it's clean and I prefer all of it gone. To me, it's easier, like all the hair gone. It's
different
easier
strokes,
to maintain for me. So it wouldn't be a deal breaker for me if you were like, I prefer this or that. Yeah. That's not a deal breaker for me.
But
there
also
are just
not
things,
like once you've like rolled off of me, start that conversation. No.
Right.
Like time and a place.
And also like, but okay, so for me, I prefer a shaved ball as well. Mm-hmm. But however, if you were really like, I don't like that, I'm not like comfortable with that, then I'd be like, oh, that's fine. That's your body. It's not going to stop me from liking you or sleeping with you or whatever it is. But just know that those aren't going in my mouth then. Mm-hmm. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because like, I don't want to floss with it. So like you...
the worst is when it gets like stuck in the back of your throat and you're like,
shut up. You find it later.
Feel like a cat.
Okay. Oh my God. Right. No, truly. But that's how I feel about that. I will never tell anybody. First of all, what you want to do with your body is not going to stop me from being attracted to you or like, as long as it's clean.
Yes.
You know, being attracted to you and continuing doing whatever with you. But also it might affect what I will or will not do or want to do. True. You know, so just that open communication in that way, because I would not take kindly to anyone. If you have a preference for a hairy bush, you may state that and I will take that into consideration. Sure. But I'm always going to do what I want to do with my own downstairs. So,
exactly.
If that's a deal breaker for you, there's a door.
Yep. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
There you go.
There's a dog for every Beth. And I think that's what we're trying to say here.
Yeah, that's what we're trying to say.
Truly. Truly. Well, who should we FMK?
Okay, I had an idea. And I think maybe we've done something like this before. But because I was reading Anna Huang, I was thinking about tropes. Also, too, I was watching Christmas movies a bunch and trope heavy. I was thinking about tropes. Like, you know, we've done like friends to lovers. I think we did that before.
We did that with Kelly, I want to say. I think we FMK'd with Kelly from Boobies and Newbies, which we hope you all enjoyed that special Christmas episode of our episode of Boobies and Newbies, Stocking Stuffers. If you haven't listened to it, it's actually a really fun one. So.
Yeah, truly. Yeah, forced proximity has also been a fun trope that I've explored recently, where it's just like,
I like that one actually.
Yeah. Where it's like, it's only almost one bed. Enemies to lovers, but
there's only one room.
Yeah. No, there's only one hotel
whenever
room.
It's like, there's only one hotel room. Oh, they gave us a queen size bed instead of two twins. I'm like, one of you can sleep on the floor. It's one night. I always think that. It's like they act like they have no choice but to share a bed together.
The thing of this is they always start like, oh, I'll just sleep on the floor. And then it turns out you don't have to do that.
No, if I really don't, that's how you know that they must like each other. Because if I don't like your ass, you are sleeping on the floor. Mm-hmm. Yeah. You're saying, I could just sleep on the floor. And I'm saying, okay, good night.
Thank you.
Yeah. Bye.
And then that's the end of the movie. And then we all lived happily ever after.
I like that one though.
Yeah. So definitely, I think forced proximity's got to be there.
Oh, geez. Trying to think of one we haven't done.
Because I think our favorite for all of us is enemies to lovers, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, for sure.
And friends to lovers is like my least. Like I don't like. I'm like, ugh.
The tension just isn't. I don't know. If you can make the tension good.
Sure.
There's a friends to lovers book that I've read that I was like, okay, if you can make the tension there, because you just
all
have
right,
to,
recommend that one to me. And
oh, okay. Here we go. We've got a bunch. We've got friends to lovers. Fake relationship.
I love. Yes, put fake relationship.
Fake
in.
relationship. Okay.
Yeah, we haven't done that one.
Oh
yet.
yeah, when they have to pretend.
Yes,
because they're
Yep.
That's a good.
And they're
one.
like, okay.
You got a 2 weeks notice situation.
Yes.
She's not going to be able to like get her inheritance if she doesn't get married.
Exactly. Mm-hmm.
Arranged marriage, love triangle, opposites attract, best friend, sibling, office romance, amnesia.
Oh my God.
Oh,
No.
definitely not amnesia. God.
Bonked on the head.
Oh no.
No. Billionaire, bad boy, blind date, childhood sweethearts, holiday romance, small town romance,
Yuck.
beast and beauty.
Yo, what about monster?
Yeah, I feel like that's beast and beauty.
Yeah, there's an entire, like, I did not know until we started doing these like erotica podcasts, because we've been on a couple now, that monster erotica is such a big thing. Oh my God, we have to talk about this. I know Christmas is over, but I sent you guys a review.
Oh my God.
I sent you guys
Scandalized.
a review of a book that was like a romance book where a woman fell in love with 3 sentient Christmas tree brothers.
Yep.
And
Dude,
I
that
was
was the best book review of all time too. We need to give her a shout out. Let me look
the
it up.
Scandalized.
romance genre is the most unhinged genre of all time. In no other genre can you get away with writing a full ass fucking book where there is lore attached to it. Like, if we can find this TikTok, we should put it.
We can. It's
okay.
Yeah. It's what's her at? Hold on. This is gonna be Grapey. GRAPIE.
Okay.
And we'll put it.
We'll put it on our Facebook. She gives a great review. This book has like deep lore into the magic of how, because these 3 brothers who were like fuckboys, I guess, in the 1980s. Why? Don't know. Get cursed to be turned into Christmas trees, and they have to live on this Christmas tree farm together. And like, so she accidentally like bumps into one of them, turns it into a man, ends up taking all 3 brothers home and fucking all of them, I guess.
Yep.
But there's like
Holiday
deep
books
lore
are
in
off
how
the rails.
in how the curse can be broken. And I'm like, someone sat down and like wrote this like plot
Bullet
outline.
pointed. Yeah.
So if you think that you can't do what you want to do
you
this
can
year,
do whatever you want to do. Whatever you want to do. Do you have a weird fucking attraction to Christmas trees?
Yep.
Go for it.
Write about it.
You know what?
Self-publishing.
You're not hurting anybody.
Seriously.
Truly, you're not hurting anybody. No trees were harmed in the making of this book.
That is a huge when looking through like, oh, what do I want to read? Like Beast and Beauty is like a really popular trope. It's like that alien book that we read.
We read an alien book on a podcast called Too Stupid to Live. We'll try and find it for you, but I'm sure if you went and searched, you'd be able to find it. Christina and I did it. And it was
She
wild.
fucked a lizard.
It was like a lizard alien.
Yeah.
A lizard alien that had, but you know what? I have to say, maybe this is what people like about the monster alien beast beauty trope is like, it gets creative.
Yeah.
Because you can do whatever you want. They have different erogenous zones than us. Like,
this guy liked his like
gills.
Yeah.
Fondled.
He had sensitive gills.
Oh.
He also had a
So
dick
sad
that
that I
popped out
didn't-
like a Pez dispenser.
Yes. It was not safely tucked high and tight away, you know?
And one of the most famous ones that I see come up over and over is another one. I think it's also a dragon man. It's like a dragon man, Beauty and the Beast trope. And he has 2 dicks.
Yeah.
He's got
there you
the
go.
double peen happening. So look, all right. We got to jump into this FMK. So we've got forced proximity, fake relationship, and Beast and Beauty. I know what I'm going to do.
I think I know what I'm going to do too. Go for it, Keegan.
I actually am struggling.
I am too.
I know exactly what I'm going to do.
Okay.
I'm going to marry forced proximity.
Okay.
There's something about that trope that I just like, and it's just like, oh man, you're forced to be together, and then like you're
fighting. You're like
fighting.
We're not supposed
Tension.
to.
Attention, yes, tension, and then you fall in love, and you live happily ever after on your little cabin in the woods or whatever.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna marry forced proximity. I'm gonna fuck Beast and Beauty.
Whoa. Oh. Okay.
Because
no,
that's gonna be insane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if I
tell
will.
about it.
I don't know if I will ever tell about it. It might stay safely under wraps forever, but it might be something that keeps. When I have a haunted look in my eye later in my life, when I'm thinking back on fucking the dragon
alien.
that has 2 dicks.
Yeah. That's what you're thinking.
Listen.
But you gotta see.
Yeah.
You know, you got to see.
Yeah.
There is also like, look, it's highly problematic, but there is something about that kind of like being swept away. It's another kind of forced proximity thing. A lot of the time as well. So, yes. Hot and weird, and we don't need to discuss it any further.
Okay.
And then fake relationship. I like a fake relationship. Like I actually like fake relationship movies a lot. I think that they're a lot of fun. But for me, that it's just the most kind of like meh.
Cheesy.
Yeah.
It can be a little cheesy. Yeah.
You know what's funny is that we agree so much on the types of books we enjoy reading, but we do not agree on the type of rom-com that we like.
Yeah, it is interesting.
Yeah.
That is interesting. We like the same tropes for the most part, in large part. Yeah.
I'm going to marry Beast and Beauty.
Girl, get it.
I am. Because you know what? They're going to be grateful, you know?
And they're going to be freaky.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm going to marry Beast and Beauty. I like, discovering what's underneath somebody's looks
Peel
and
back
falling
those
in
layers.
love with the real them and those 2 dicks. Peel back those gills, see what's underneath. And then I'm going to fuck forced proximity for sure.
Yeah.
It's so hot.
Yeah.
So
I think I'm doing something different from all of you then, because that's so funny.
Yeah.
I'm going to marry fake relationship. I don't know. Like, I just feel like there's
it's the most stable of these 3.
Yes,
I
because
think.
they already want to be in a relationship or don't, but there's chance to grow in that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like there's like something to build on, I think.
You've made the most responsible decision, I think, of the 3 of us. I do. Yeah, because I agree with you. I think they always seem to, and that's why it makes for a good movie, is that the fake relationship ones, they always seem to really get to know each other well.
Yeah.
And
they
that
have
would make
to,
for,
right?
that would
And
make
then-
for a good relationship.
Yeah. I think that I'm gonna fuck forced proximity. The tension can't be beat.
Yeah, can't be
The tension can't be beat. And then I'm so sorry, but I am definitely gonna do the Beast and Beauty. I gotta be honest,
You know
not
what?
for me, dog.
Cassie didn't read that alien book.
yeah, there you go.
Oh no.
I actually did not find that
missed it.
alien man hot, but
No, but
The descriptions you guys have given aren't hot.
you know, when I think about the alien man from that book, what I see in my head is the fish from The Shape of Water.
No.
That is what I see. It is Shape of Water fish. Yeah. Yeah.
not interested.
It's not
What
for
about
me.
if it's more of like a wolf man or something like that?
You know what? I don't like those books
Beastie.
either because I don't like the Fae stories or the only thing I can
interesting.
get on board with as far as like is maybe vampires. That's about it.
Oh,
but I
hell
don't do
yeah.
aliens. We don't
I need
do
to go see Nosferatu like yesterday.
Me too.
Like I gotta go. If you have time this week and you want to go.
Skarsgård.
Yeah, hot.
So hot.
I haven't seen him as Count Orlok yet. probably looks fucked up, would still fuck him.
Yeah.
See, Beast and Beauty.
Yep.
Beast
See,
and Beauty.
that's the only Beast and Beauty I can get behind, though. I can't be. I can't risk it. Like, what if I end up with The Shape of Water when I wanted like?
I will say I
Blonde.
did not find Shape of Water fish hot.
I kind of did.
I know you did. I think we talked about it. We did
Yeah.
an episode
Wow.
for that on our Patreon. Yeah. And look, different strokes.
Listen, literally.
Yeah. Swimming strokes.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
But
Well, you guys want to take 5 and then we'll come back with stories?
sounds good.
And we're back. Okay. Christina has the Tainted Love this week. So you want to kick us off with stories?
Yes. Okay. So this person says, we met at Jamba Juice and he said he wanted to show me something in his car and promised it was not his penis.
Okay.
Thank God.
You know what? I actually really like that self-awareness. He's like, I know men. I know men are gross.
Yes.
And I'm just going to give you this so you don't have to even worry about it.
It is
It's
not my
not
You don't
penis.
have to worry
dick.
about it. Yeah.
We get in his car and he says he can only show me the thing, she's
No.
capitalized, the thing while driving.
No.
Sir,
No. No. I just read A Stranger Beside Me. That's what I did over my break.
Nice. And Roll, how is it?
I really liked. I'll discuss it at the end. I'll make
Okay.
that one of my things to talk about at the end.
Okay, good. Because it's been in my Kindle like forever.
Well, actually, I have another thing to talk about at the end, so I'll just talk about it really quick right now. So good. I read the version where she has several afterwards with follow-ups. So this one was written after Ted Bundy's execution, so she follows up on all of that stuff. She's a great writer. I mean, it was written in the 80s, so I think some of the language is outdated. I think the way that we think and talk about true crime is a little outdated in
Right,
it.
right.
And you also have to take, you can't lose sight of the fact that they were friends.
Yeah.
In the afterwards, she's a little bit more removed from it. But in the book itself, you know, they were really friends. And so her having
That's
to grapple
wild.
with
That's
this
bizarre.
being a person she knew. And so some of that stuff that we don't like about the way people talk about Ted Bundy, like he was so smart, he was blah, blah, blah. She definitely leans into that.
Right.
And I think it's partially because she did know him.
Wow.
So, but the book, very good. But all that to say, I did read it and you're not tricking me into getting your car into your car because
Exactly.
you need to show me a thing that's not your penis.
Nah.
No.
No.
He can only show the thing while driving. I make him promise again that it's not his dick, and he pulls out of the parking lot. While we start driving around downtown, he pulls out a cassette tape out of his pocket that he says he got at Goodwill. For only $1. What a steal.
Why do we have to be
Puts it-
driving?
Exactly. Like your cassette player doesn't work if you're not driving.
I don't know. Maybe.
Okay.
This is so fucking weird. Okay.
Puts it in his stereo, presses play, and then says he's been practicing.
Oh no.
It was a learn how to yodel cassette tape.
Oh. I don't know what I was expecting, but it wasn't that. It wasn't that.
Hey, everybody's got New Year's resolutions. Everybody's like got hobbies.
Actually, I really feel very open-hearted at this moment in my life, and I'm kind of like, you know what? Show me what you got.
Yeah.
Yodeling's hard.
Wow.
He proudly tells me he's been becoming a pretty good yodeler since he's been
wow.
practicing every day.
No, I love that for you. I don't know if it's first date material.
The guy on the cassette is doing his whole welcome to yodeling 101
God.
spiel before the yodeling started. And I'm debating getting out of the car at the stoplight, but then my date starts yodeling.
Okay.
Also, the car is too confined a space for that.
Yodeling is
It involves a lot of diaphragm support.
Oh no.
It's like someone singing opera in the car next to you. It's too loud.
Oh my God. So we're driving around the highly populated downtown with the windows wide open. And this man is yodeling
Bro.
his little heart out.
Oh, can I shrink into the fucking seat? Like, can I disappear?
There's something really, I'm being way too positive today, but I kind of respect it. I'm like, this is bold.
My secondhand embarrassment could never.
I would literally melt out of the car door.
Christina,
Like,
this reminds me of a story that you know about a friend of ours, a mutual person that we know that used to work with you, playing the tambourine with his windows down. With me and my girlfriend in the car following them to a party. And I was
Stop it. And you were like, No. Yes, I know who
Unzip my skin.
Yeah.
You know what? Having no
And we're not even in the
shame,
same
though,
car together.
I want a little bit of that. I want a little bit of like having just no shame at all. You know?
I mean, it's yodeling. It's not. I mean,
It could be worse.
it could be worse. Well, yeah.
What is worse?
He's not Ted
Magic?
Bundy. So up close magic.
Well, there you go.
There you
He's
go.
releasing doves as he's driving through the window.
No.
Oh my god.
Oh, this is awful. What?
Oh my god. This man is yodeling his little heart out,
Oh,
only
baby.
stopping every now and then to waggle his eyebrows at me in
No.
what I think is an attempt at seduction.
Oh no. Seduction via yodel. No.
I'm laughing because what the fuck? This is the most theater kid display I've ever
Oh,
seen.
baby.
Truly is.
Really,
Truly,
it is.
truly is.
Then a bee flies in the window and
my
my
God.
date freaks the
Oh
fuck
my
out.
God.
Says he got into a car accident because of a bee the year before and starts flailing around while yodeling, trying to get the bee out of the window.
You can stop yodeling now. Like
Why do
you
you
don't
stop the car?
What if it gets in your mouth?
This
I feel
is
like that's
chaos.
a big open mouth.
Yeah, true. It's a target. In the process, he hits his thumb on the steering wheel, stops yodeling, and starts screaming about how much his thumb hurts. We're approaching a 3-way intersection with a green light, and he insists his hand hurts too much to keep steering, then demand I steer his car until it feels better. And he starts yodeling, sadly, again.
I think we've got a Tom Hanks and Big situation. Like this sounds like a middle schooler in an adult's body, doesn't it? Like I'm like, what?
God.
What do you mean?
When he's like, bees! Yodeling!
My thumb hurts.
God.
I can't steer the car.
Oh my God.
Unhinged.
We're approaching the intersection and he still has his foot on the accelerator and I don't want to die with this man, so I lean over and start steering while saying, "What the fuck, Ryan?" over and over. He's still cradling his injured thumb,
Oh my God, you
croaking
big
out
baby.
the saddest yodels with his eyes mostly shut. We make it through the intersection and I demand he start steering his car and take me back to Jamba Juice. He says,
out.
wait, this yodel is almost done and I need to show you the end.
It is
no, you
done.
don't. No, you don't. We're done.
But he grabs the steering wheel again, so I allow him to continue. The end of the yodel wasn't even that good, to be honest.
No. I can't believe it.
Eventually, he wraps up his performance, having seemingly forgotten about his thumb, and takes me back to my car. I drive home in silence, only broken by me audibly asking myself, what the fuck just happened?
Truly.
I mean, at least seeing a penis is predictable.
Yeah, that's true. He said,
no one predict what
No one expects
yodeling?
a Spanish and
Yodeling?
truly.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
that's not on my bingo
Wow.
card.
No, sure wasn't.
Oh my God.
Wow. That.
Yeah.
I'm a little speechless. I wasn't expecting any of that.
No.
Any of that.
No.
Wow. Okay. This is a story from a listener. I think we'll all find it pretty relatable. The subject line is, "I'm still cringing."
Ooh.
So
okay.
it is a cringe story. 4 months ago, I was at a comedy show and I started talking to a guy.
There you go. Already.
She's like, nope.
Strike number one. He asked for my number and said we should go to a show sometime. I didn't hear from him until a couple of weeks ago. He randomly texted me on a Friday afternoon asking if I was interested in going with him to a sold-out show the next day, as he had an extra ticket. I did want to go to the show, so I said, why not? We decided to meet up before the show and grab a couple drinks. He recommended a spot in my neighborhood that has a really good happy hour. Unfortunately, happy hour is only 1 hour long, and it does get really crowded, especially on weekends. That's a bold move. 1 hour happy hour?
Yeah.
Wow.
Get it.
I mean, it is
Get
happy
it in,
hour,
get it
not
out.
happy hours.
I know, but
That's
most
true.
places have multiple hours, right?
Yeah, between
While
like
I
certain.
was,
yeah.
yeah, like 5 and 7 or whatever.
Yeah.
While I was on my way, he called me and said he was going to put in our drink orders since the bar was busy and happy hour was almost over.
No.
He read me the options and I decided on a Negroni. When
My
I showed
drink
up,
is not going to be there. No.
No.
You done? No.
Yeah,
I want to
yeah, I
watch
don't
it
know
be
you like
made.
that.
No.
Yep. Yeah, don't do that. When I showed up, he was still waiting and said to me that he recommends that I get an espresso martini instead. I was kind of annoyed. If I wanted an espresso martini, I would have asked for one, but he was paying for it, so I decided to go with his recommendation. That is so annoying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why even ask me then? Why bother to read the menu out to me? He goes up and orders 3 espresso martinis, and I ask, are we expecting someone else? He says no, but happy hour is almost over, and we can split the last one.
I mean, I don't disagree with
Frugal.
you so far.
I'm
actually.
okay with that, actually.
I'm actually
Yeah.
okay with that. Smart.
While we're drinking, he gets up to use the bathroom, and when he returns, I asked how the lines were, as this bar only has 2 single-stall restrooms. He said the lines were too long, so he just went outside.
Don't admit that.
Right.
Just say the
Lie.
lies
Lie.
long. Yes.
Yep. For reference, this bar is on a very busy street and doesn't exactly have an alley or hidden side street, so I have no idea where he could have gone outside.
He's actually wearing an adult diaper. He just went out and
You've
stood.
got to get it together. I saw a man when I was home who just, left the same situation. Like, it wasn't super busy because I think it was a weeknight, but left the bar and just went outside and was just leaning against the wall. And I was
Honey,
like, I know what the fuck
Did
you're
they
doing
not
right now.
have a restroom?
Of course they did.
Of course they did.
I'm just
It's not that busy.
you.
So, sir,
Why? Just because you can whip it out. That should be the theme. Just
Dude.
because you can whip it out
don't mean
Doesn't
you
mean you
should.
should.
doesn't mean you should.
But
and in fact, almost
man,
never.
the way that I would pee everywhere,
No,
though, if I had a
Christina.
penis,
God
dude,
knew better than to make you a man.
That's right.
truly,
You
truly,
would have been too powerful.
Here.
Oh my God. The types of men we would be are like the men from
Are you
Bedazzled.
kidding? I'm an Aries.
Honestly, I'm the one that cries all the time. Cassie's getting into fights. Christina is like a high-powered American psycho CEO.
Oh, totally, Patrick
Totally.
Bateman.
Oh my God. We would be the worst. We would be the worst. I'm like trying to play guitar to you on the beach at sunset. God, we would be awful then.
I would totally be like a pickleball player or something. Jesus Christ. Unsufferable. Talking to you guys about like Bitcoin.
Oh,
fucking-
Jesus. We would be awful.
Crypto bro.
I mean, total crypto,
no.
bro.
I can't
Oh
help
my
but
God.
think about
so glad we're women.
the Brendan Fraser movie.
Yeah,
where he's
exactly.
like all those
Bedazzled. That's what I was saying.
Yes. Oh,
yeah, like we
you're-
would be
you're
the characters
guy
from
on the
Bedazzled.
beach.
Yes.
I'm the basketball player who doesn't have
Yeah.
enough balls.
No,
To,
doesn't have 2 brain cells to rub together.
yes.
Oh my God. I would be
Yeah, so I
the drug
play
lord
good.
then, I guess, in that one.
Just I got to play
Donde
good.
está la bip?
We also did that for a Tainted Love on our Patreon, so go check that out.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, he pees outside on the street. We decide to get another round, and I'm in between 2 cocktails, but ultimately decide on one. I wanted it an old-fashioned. He orders both drinks I was looking at, plus one for himself. I'm starting to wonder if dude is trying to get me drunk or
No
something.
shit.
He admits to me that he hasn't drank in months because it was a busy season at his job, and this is the first time he's had a drink in 3 months.
He's gonna be
Is
fucking
this-
wasty.
Is that
That's
by
6
two
cocktails.
Is that
Not-
what? Is by two
Maybe,
get,
and
like,
that's why he
three-
keeps getting
the-
3 drinks.
Yeah.
I don't know, but as someone who has stopped drinking for 3 months, months at a time, it's no joke that your tolerance,
Oh, yeah.
even if you used to drink like a monster, your tolerance resets.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
after a couple of months of not drinking, your tolerance does reset. The first time I had a drink after going over 3 months without drinking, I literally had half a glass of wine and I could feel it.
Wow.
So
Yeah.
I'm like, you need to be careful.
Yeah.
And a first date is not the time to like start
To
drinking like
while
that again.
out.
And then go
Yeah.
to a fucking comedy show?
You're gonna misbehave.
No.
You're gonna misbehave. He's
Oh,
gonna
no.
do some fucking shitty shit.
I guess this is probably me as an Aries man. Sounds
Oh
more like
God, you're like, I can handle it.
I
Don't
got
worry.
this. Don't worry. Hey, babe. Why don't you actually just get an espresso martini?
Shut up.
Oh
I'd be
my
the
gosh.
worst. I'm so sorry.
We all would be. That's
Yeah.
The way
Thank God
that-
we're women. Thank God.
the mansplaining.
Oh, I'd be insufferable.
I'm in stuff. I hate me. as a man.
Yeah, Christina's drinking whiskey. Just explaining
We should
the history of the world
kill each of
ourselves
us
as men.
as men. Yeah.
Oh God! Next episode.
Yeah.
Totally.
He tries his drink and says he doesn't like it and starts drinking my old fashioned. He says I can have his drink, which was the consistency of a milkshake. But I say that I'm all set and stick with my second choice beverage.
Ew. Is anything worse than being milk drunk?
Ugh,
No.
you're sloshy.
It's so sick.
Yeah.
You're so
and
sick.
if God forbid you throw up.
It's the
Warm
worst.
milk coming back up.
No. Anything with Bailey's? No.
Anything with Russian in the title is a no for me, dog.
Yeah, avoid it.
Yeah.
We get in Uber and head to the theater, and I can tell that he's feeling pretty tipsy. You don't say. When we get there, the line's pretty long. I start heading towards the back, and he grabs me and says, "Let's just cut in. No one will notice."
Sir, no.
This is, I will peel my skin off. I'm like, nope. Pissing people off, absolutely my biggest fear. No.
This is real medium dick energy here.
Yeah. Well, people noticed, and I was extremely uncomfortable having to stand around the people we very obviously cut in front of.
Like they don't know who's been in front of them the whole fucking time.
And now they're like passive aggressively, loudly being like talking shit behind you, and you can hear it. The worst. The worst. We get inside and he has to use the restroom, but I don't. And I tell him I'll wait outside. He yells loudly, "Well, don't talk to any guys while I'm in there." And everyone around us was staring at me. I got to a corner and wait for him. He comes out and makes a comment about how where I was waiting was a good spot, assuming because I was hidden. I realize I'm going to need another drink to get through the rest of tonight, and we head to the bar. I got a White Claw in a big can, and he ordered a mixed drink. He goes up to an usher and shows him our seat info and says in a snarky tone, "I'm pretty sure we're in the VIP area."
I hate this guy.
The usher, completely unamused, says, "No, you're one floor up." This is dating a comedian. Sorry. But like, this is like, everything's a joke. You know, you're like, okay, turn it off.
Oh, would you rather close-up magician or comedian?
Or
Comedian.
comedian, hands down. Oh, what,
Right.
what am I thinking about? No, obviously, this is not even a fucking question. There's absolutely
No, I
that's like
can't,
dating a
like-
balloon.
No, if there's scarves involved, I'm out. Okay. We get to the seats and we are sitting next to a couple who is celebrating their 12-year anniversary. Dude
poor
jokes
people.
that maybe we'll be here celebrating in 12 years.
We won't.
No.
We
And
won't.
regales this poor couple with the tale of our situation. He tells it like it's a great thing that we met 4 months ago and now we're on our first date. The wife is pregnant and dude asks when they're having the baby shower and if we can be invited. The couple laughs it off, but dude keeps persisting and even gives this guy his number and says, "We probably won't go, but we want an invite."
Sir, no.
This is my nightmare, being sat next to this guy.
Room.
Truly.
No, your worst is being on this date. Are you kidding, Keegan?
Yeah, I mean, true, but like, you just, okay. So whenever I was headed to Springfield for Christmas, I texted you guys because I was traveling so early and like, I'm not a morning person. I got up at 4 a.m. I was getting on the plane at like 5:30 and I was walking up. I had a window seat and there were two people sitting in the middle and aisle seats and they were chatting away. It was like a man and a woman.
No.
And I was like, oh no, I'm sat next to a couple. I was like, oh no. They weren't a couple. They had never met before. They were just two of the friendliest, most chatty people on the fucking planet. It was 5:30 in the morning. But the guy had never even been to Springfield before. I learned so much about these people.
No.
He was showing me pictures
Headphones.
and videos on his phone. I'm like, I'm trying to sleep. It's 5:30 in the morning.
Headphones.
So I'm just like, when you have an expectation for how the night's going to go, like you're like, we've been together 12 years. Let's go have a nice chill, like night out. And you get sat next to this fucking guy.
No.
That's true. That's true.
Oh
That's
my
true.
God. Leave me alone. Okay. Luckily
like,
the show.
Can we move?
Can we move?
Yeah.
Actually, the usher's like, actually, yes. I had to deal with that guy and
Yeah.
I will
come with
move
me.
you.
Going to a comedy show with a guy who thinks he's a comedian.
Oh my God. The
Is there
worst.
anything worse?
The worst.
No.
You are right. Luckily, the show starts, and the show itself was really funny. I only got to drink about half of my White Claw because dude took it and drank it when his drink was done. He's drinking all her drinks. All her drinks. The show ends, and I begrudgingly suggest that we walk over to a nearby bar and just get a drink before getting an Uber home, as it can be fairly difficult to get an Uber in our downtown area when a large event ends. And if I have to wait with this guy, I'd rather have a drink while doing so.
There you go.
He says he could go for a beer. This guy's also mixing
liquor,
he
beer,
hasn't drank in 3
espresso
months.
martinis,
Yeah.
old fashions.
Yeah. White Claw, beer. Yeah, no. I decide on a beer and order it. He goes to the extremely busy bartender and asks what drink is best between these two. The annoyed bartender is like, depends on what you like, buddy. And the dude ordered another mixed drink and is confused why I got beer. He also orders a water, and the bartender points to the other side of the bar to a water dispenser. So once we have our drinks, I start walking in that direction. Dude yells, "Why are you walking that way?" And I point to the water dispenser and say, "You wanted water?" His response loudly was, "Yeah, right. You just wanted to walk by all those dudes."
Oh my God.
Right. And points to a group of guys that I didn't even notice. I was so ready for this date to be over. We stand at these tables that are along the sidewalk outside, right in front of a group of people who are trying to help their extremely intoxicated friend who is profusely vomiting into a trash can.
Oh, God.
He wants to go over there and help.
No.
But I down my beer and suggest we don't get involved and just get ourselves an Uber. He tells me that he's going to a
you
bar.
Can do?
Wait, you, who's had like 18 different beverages throughout this evening.
How are you feeling?
They got it.
Back?
They fucking got it. I rub your back.
You can hold your hair for you.
Oh my God. He tells me that he's going to a bar in my neighborhood and invites me, but I tell him that I've got to get home. My pet was sick earlier that day and I wanted to get back to her. Plus the state was terrible. He orders an Uber.
Oh my God. Is having a pet the best thing when
to
you're
get out of
dating?
anything?
Yeah.
Oh my, a dog especially.
Yeah.
A dog is ace.
I got to go back and walk my
I
dog.
got to go back. Yeah.
Yep.
So sorry.
He orders an Uber, but just for that bar. He says we can add my stop once we get in. Once we're in the Uber, he hands me his phone to add my stop, and it adds another $35 to the ride, which is crazy because I live just down the street. I say to him that I'll just order myself an Uber once we get there. The Uber driver hears this and nicely offers to take me for free. I thank him and say that's very nice of him. This must have upset my date. He says, maybe we should just both go back to your house. To which I respond, that's not happening.
No, that's
he
not
starts
necessary.
telling the Uber driver, you better not try to steal my girl.
Oh my
he keeps
God.
saying it and is getting more aggressive, telling him how he, quote, worked hard to get me. Oh my God. I'm so mortified, and the Uber driver is clearly uncomfortable and says that he won't. We finally get to
thank you.
I had no plans on it. We finally get to the bar he was going to, and there was a lot of traffic on his side of the vehicle, so he had to get out on my side, meaning I had to get out of the car to let him out. He gets out, looks back into the car, and says to the Uber driver,
Oh, God.
hey, go park.
No.
Me and the Uber driver are confused, and we both ask, what are you talking about? Dude puts his arm around me and says to the Uber driver, go park and come back in 10 minutes. Are you fucking kidding me? Who the fuck do you think you are? Oh my God. The Uber driver is doing me a kind favor by giving me a ride home for free, and you think he's just going to wait around for 10 minutes? I remove his arm and say, no, he's not going to park. Okay, thanks, bye, and jump back into the car.
Yeah. Shut that door quick. Lock.
Around one, yes. And you know that like you and that Uber driver have to exchange where you're like,
oh, yes.
you're like,
commiserate.
right? Yeah.
Oh,
You make eye contact.
Yeah.
Around 1:30 a.m., aka last call, I get a text from him asking how my pet is doing. I say she's still not doing well, and he responded with, want company?
No.
No.
Nope.
I didn't answer. 2 days later, I got a text from him saying that it was fun and we should do it again. Spoiler alert, we will not be doing it again.
No.
At least I got to go to a show I wanted to see and got some free drinks, even though they weren't the ones I actually wanted. Thanks for the laughs, ladies. I only found your podcast a couple of months ago, but you already made it to number 3 on my Spotify Wrapped for 2024.
Yay!
Oh, thank you. That was just the most like series of events that absolutely would happen to you.
Just
like that's a bad date.
clueless.
That's a true, like relatable, nothing
God.
insane, but just like the
no yodeling.
no
but
yodeling,
still-
but like death by 1,000 paper cuts,
Yes.
you know?
Oh,
Truly.
totally.
Yeah.
1,000 paper cuts, truly. Oh, no. Oh, go park. Come back.
Come back.
No, thank you.
I was like, sir,
No.
bold. Yeah.
No. Okay, so I got my story from Reddit. It says, I had been talking to this guy on Tinder for a while. I was abroad when he first started asking me to meet up. So by the time we had been talking for around a month. He seemed nice and the conversation flowed. So I was looking forward to the date. On the night, I was waiting where we had agreed, and a guy walked past and gave me a half smile. I thought nothing of it because this is common for strangers to do in this part of Newcastle. But I then realized he had stopped next to me, so I could only half see him. I turned to face him, and he said, "Are you coming then?" I then realized this was, in fact, the guy I had been talking to on Tinder for all this time.
But
You
no
coming?
greeting?
Coming then?
Like,
Oh, the half
Okay.
smile. Okay. He looked
you know that guy thinks he is the suavest man on the fucking planet.
Rico Suave.
You know, he thinks he's like, yeah. too cool for school.
coming or not.
coming or
He
not.
practices that smile in the mirror.
Yeah, he does. He passes his beer. Nods.
Hi, it's Toots.
Oh.
Coming or not.
Ew.
Gross.
He looked so different from his photos, I didn't even recognize him. He was clearly the same person, but the photos must have been taken several years ago. And he had changed quite a bit since then. This immediately made me feel uneasy, but I try not to be too judgmental of a person, and I am a person that cares more about personality than anything when it comes to dating, so I went with it. As we start to walk, he told me that he hadn't been out for about 2 months, which is a little odd for a university student, but maybe he'd just been working hard. I then asked why, and he completely ignored me. Just, okay.
Okay.
And just
All right.
randomly started singing in the middle of the
No.
street.
No. Stop it.
It is a date, not a fucking talent show. Okay, guys,
We've
we
said
don't
this
need.
before.
We don't want skills.
We've got yodelers. We've got comedians. We've
got
got
singers.
singers.
Oh.
Like
It's a real performance heavy show.
Stop it. Stop it.
Again,
I mean,
very
Wicked
odd.
just came out, so
People
you know.
are feeling real bold.
Yeah.
All the theater kids are coming out of hiding.
Yep. Yep.
Oh,
Wow.
Lord.
Again, very odd, but I was trying to give him the benefit of the doubt. Maybe he was just nervous. He then said that he thought I was brave for coming out on a date with someone from a dating app, as he could have just been anyone, a murderer or worse.
Don't.
And the date
Thank
is
you.
over. And
Thank
the
you.
date is like, honestly, we have to implement this policy because
Yeah.
it's happened one too many times.
Too many
if a
times.
man makes a joke about being a serial killer or like I could assault you if I wanted to, or no one can hear you scream if you're out here, or blah, 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 any
Jesus.
of that shit, the date is fucking over.
we're done.
Because
Done.
you clearly don't understand the reality of what it's like to be a woman
Right.
in like dating, or a woman
Because-
who lives in the world.
Yes,
Like,
that can happen. We are very well aware
Oh, yeah.
that
of
that
how
can
vulnerable
happen.
we are.
Yeah.
And if you feel this comfortable just making a flippant joke about that, like you genuinely don't understand
and yeah,
women at all. And I'm not risking it with you, you
Yeah.
fucking maniac. I'm going home.
right.
I'm gonna
Do you
start
know how-
making Apple ID like necklaces, like that can hide an Apple ID, and then just let your friends follow you along your date.
Yeah.
you know?
I mean, honestly, like, look, I know that I'm doing dry January, so part of it was also probably because I was like at a bar not drinking. But like I went
Ruiner.
out last night, and the way I was like any excuse to go home and sit back on my couch. So I'm
Truly.
like, do not push it. Because I'm like, I'm looking for a reason to
Give me
leave.
one reason.
So
Yeah.
like, please.
Yeah. This started ringing alarm bells for me as this was starting to creep me out. But we hadn't even made it to the bar yet, which was just down the road from where we were. I really wanted to leave at this point, but I didn't want to be rude or hurt his feelings. So I was
Normalize
planning.
leaving.
Yeah, truly.
Normalize in 2025. Whenever you
Let it
start
go.
feeling alarm bells go off, normalize leaving.
Yeah. So I was planning out in my head what to do. He had returned to singing at this point, and so he wasn't. So sorry. I'm imagining just walking down the fucking street and like
This is worse than the yodeler. At least you're in a car. You know what I mean?
With the
Where
windows
it's just
down.
like, yeah, but like you can zoom by. Like you're walking by people.
Is that yodeling?
Was that yodeling? What the fuck? Get out of here.
I almost welcome that though. On the streets of LA, if I was driving in LA and I heard yodeling, I'd be like, oh, I love this city. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Truly.
there used to be
it's true. I was like,
really
God damn, I
cute
love it here.
girl that would practice her bagpipes
that's right. Yeah.
on Santa Monica Boulevard. And I was like, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Bagpipe, I would prefer. What do we got? We got bagpipe, yodeler, or singer. What is your?
They're all pretty bad in my.
yeah.
I find the bagpipes to be a particularly grating instrument. But I have to respect that girl because I'm like, all I can think is that she lives in like a studio apartment with
Yes.
2 other roommates and is not trying to like, she wants to work on her bagpipe skills, but does not want to piss off her roommates. And I appreciate that courtesy. So
Yeah, truly.
I'm pro bagpipe on this one. Of the three. Of the three.
Me too. Of the three. Of the three.
Yeah. I got to go bagpipe on that. Anyway, so he, in our text conversation, he had insisted on paying for first round of drinks on our prospective date. And I refused until we struck a deal in which he would pay for the first round. And if I was still interested, I would pay for the second. This meant escape the date was all in hand. And all I had to do was just make it through that first drink. Mm-hmm. We finally get to the bar, but it's a match day. So it's full and the bouncers are saying no one else is getting in. I then asked him where he wanted to go, and he replied that he didn't know because anywhere else in the city. I'm not saying that being a teetotal or staying in bed is everyone has to have, their own idea of fun, but it's a little weird to live in a city as a student for 4 years in which you only know one bar. So anyway, I just wanted to get this date over with and feel safe, so I suggested going to my favorite pub, as it doesn't fill up as quickly on match day, and I also know the staff, so if there's any situation, I can get help from them.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
That's perfect. Yeah.
Yep.
As we are walking there, he makes 2 or 3 more jokes about murdering me, interspersed by jokes like, what do you call a cow with 1 leg? A steak. Which is terrible. Sorry, that's your kind of joke. Which I didn't laugh at. But then he would say, oh, you like that? I love seeing you laugh. I was not laughing. Sir, I wasn't laughing. So not even smiling.
So fucking stupid. Oh my God. That fucking stink.
I love seeing you laugh. Sir, I didn't even crack my face.
What is wrong with him? I'm so.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
Honestly, at this point, I was just confused. So we get to the
I love seeing you laugh would confuse me too. I'd be like, are we in different realities?
What is happening right now? So we get to the pub and it's also full. We're standing outside the door and he said, when we tell our grandchildren the story.
No.
And we won't tell them we couldn't find anywhere to go.
Oh, no.
A little presumptive there, sir.
Yeah.
He then went in to hug me, but I quickly stepped to the side, so he just awkwardly fell against the wall next to me.
That's incredible.
At this point,
He really trusted that hug too.
Oh,
you know
yeah,
what I
he was
mean?
like, oh.
Like he was putting
He was
everything
off
into
balance.
it. Yeah.
At this point, he suggested we go back to his place and relax with a bottle of vodka.
No.
What is going on?
No, he had already told me that he doesn't drink, so I'm thinking, who is going to be drinking all that vodka? Me? Why
Maybe
does
he
even
thinks that's
have
what drinkers
vodka?
do. They just drink vodka
Just
straight.
vodka. Ugh.
Just room temp vodka.
Oh,
Good Lord.
He then proceeds to make another joke about murdering me. So I'm thinking,
Why would I go back to your apartment?
No,
if you're
sir.
on joke 5 about
On
like
murder?
dismembering my body.
I
No,
don't like
I'm not
this.
going back to your house.
no. So I have to find somewhere public. So to go to, so he can't kill me or whatever he's got planned. So I see a Frankie and Benny's across the street, which is empty. So I suggest we go there. Romantic, I know, but at least there were people there. I'm assuming this is kind of a commonplace in the UK.
Yeah. Sure.
Everything is fairly normal for a while, and we've got our drinks. And after we sit down, he said, I told you a joke earlier. Now you need to tell me one. I tried to laugh at
anything, sir.
Thank you. I tried to tell him, or I tried to laugh it off, and he said, oh, I'm sorry, but I don't know any as funny as yours. He didn't accept this as an answer, and instead I tell him one, or insisted I tell him one, sorry.
No.
So I tell him the only joke I know, which is truly awful, by the way, and he says, that joke was really terrible. I think I'm going to have to punish you for that. I'm sorry. Who do you think he is?
No.
For about the 10th time during this date, I got chills down my spine. I don't even have the words to describe how sickeningly cringy it was to hear that. He then, before I get a chance to reply, asks, if I were to ask nicely, would you let me impregnate you? I couldn't believe what I was hearing. Who asks that on a first date, especially when you are the only customer in a restaurant and so all the staff can hear you? The staff
that shit makes me feel sick.
I did. My stomach flipped.
No.
That's so nasty.
This person's not right in the head. You got to get the fuck out.
The staff were, in fact, all lined up at the bar, closely listening to this car crash of a date.
Of course they were.
Yeah. I then politely declined his offer and proceeded to drink down my drink. I couldn't take any more of this. I just wanted to go home and tell my flatmates this ridiculous story. He then asked, so, are you going to get us another drink? And suddenly, the bit I had been dreading the most was here. I tried to be nice and told him that I was very sorry, but I just wasn't feeling a click and didn't think it was going to go any further. He then gets a look on his face of a hurt puppy. Honestly, I thought he was going to cry, and I instantly felt awful. He then asked me why, and then I just said,
you know, why are you asking that?
Exactly.
What do you want to hear?
It just doesn't, bro. Like, I don't know.
No, because I'm just like, you don't want them to be honest. You don't want them to be honest about why.
Yeah. He blurts out, is it because of my looks?
Oh my God.
Sir, what the fuck? Anyway, even though it genuinely wasn't because of his looks, I instantly felt like a superficial bitch and felt that what I had done was exceptionally cruel. I know I can be quite easy to guilt. Yeah, that's not necessary for you to feel guilty
That's
on
why
that.
you got to get out. You got to get out early.
You'll
that's
never see this person again.
Right. The strategy.
Block.
That's what I've learned because I know myself. Like I don't go to the timeshare meeting because I'm like, it's too easy to guilt me into something. So
I know.
I get out before, you just got to avoid it altogether.
You got to have somebody strong go with you to those. And it isn't me.
It's not me.
Oh, I am a strong no.
I'll fold like a table.
Christina.
Yeah.
No.
He then asks if I will stay with him to the end of the conversation just while he finishes his drink. Considering how guilty I felt, I agreed. He then starts to ask me about a tragic event that had happened to me earlier in the year that had affected me for a while. After I explained the situation to him a bit, he took my hand and said, it's okay. I will help you get through this.
No, you won't. What in the world?
I then removed my hand and thanked him for his concern and the offer of help, but informed him that I had managed the situation myself and was fine. He had previously asked me about another sensitive event in my life that over text we had talked about for some reason. I had told him, which is why I think he felt the next comment was somehow supportive. He takes my hand again and says, do you think the reason you drink so much is to handle the pain?
I can't handle this. I'm exhausted listening to this.
Awful.
I really am. Like, I am out of here.
I genuinely...
You gotta be fucking kidding me. This person has zero social skills. Like, zero social skills. Like, I actually almost feel bad for this person because I'm like, how do you
not
life?
That's so inappropriate
truly.
to say.
Like, everything that you've said on this date is the most inappropriate thing you could say on a date. Like, what is wrong with you?
The worst.
Yeah.
I genuinely couldn't believe what I was hearing. He was calling me an alcoholic on our first date. Don't get me wrong, I like a drink, but I'm definitely not an alcoholic. He then continues, I'm here for you. I can help you get out of this, and I'll support you in becoming sober and dealing with what happened. I honestly don't know what he was trying to do here, or if he was trying to guilt me into spending more time with him, or convince me that I somehow needed fixing and need help and from him that I don't know.
Fuck this dude.
I know.
No, yeah.
I do try
She's
to be
very patient.
Yeah.
She really is.
I do try to be kind, patient, and considerate of others in life, but I was sick of this guy. So I stood up and told him I was leaving. He then has one final question for me. Do you think you're a snobby bitch?
Oh,
Yes.
yes.
I silently
Yeah.
put my jacket on and left. I got
More
home.
snobby bitchiness in 2025.
Absolutely.
More snobby bitchiness. That's where I'm at. Fuck this person.
I got home by 8 p.m. and promptly told the story to my flatmates, a story
My
that is now
God.
thankfully something we laugh about. Unfortunately, this isn't the only creepy bad Tinder date story I've had to tell them.
Do you
other
know
peop-
if one of us had experienced this, the way that we would never stop asking each other, do you think you're a snobby bitch?
Do you think you're a snobby?
It would make its way into every... Hey,
Cassie,
Hey,
do you think you're a snobby bitch?
Yes.
In fact, it's going to now because of this story.
The way that she was just like, jacket on. I'm not even
Yeah,
answering that. Goodbye.
but you know what?
Do you think you drink so much because of the trauma?
What? Sir.
Oh my god.
What were you expecting?
Oh my god. This is the most inappropriate question.
Like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
First
you know
date,
that man
guys.
had the clammiest hands of all time. You
a
know,
thousand.
Imagine
Like-
too, though, you've been talking to this guy for like a month before you can actually go out with him. So you're thinking you're having like this, you probably have shared a lot with this person. And now you're like, what the fuck have I done?
Yeah.
That's why
No,
you
it's-
got to move to in person pretty quickly because
Yeah.
like you don't know somebody via text because like they have too much time to think about stuff, Google stuff, try to get a better
Well, now
personality.
there's like AI chatbots that will answer for them.
Yeah,
so.
absolutely fucking not. You gotta speed that shit up, either on the phone or in person, because a month is too long to be wasted on somebody like that.
Interview
Wow.
slow,
Wait.
fire fast.
That's right. That's right. Well, you guys want to take 5 and then we'll come back with the Tainted Love?
That's right.
Yes.
And we're back. Christina, tell us your love story.
I randomly found this story, but I do remember it because it's somewhat recent. So, you know, it was something I was like, have we talked about this? I don't remember. But I found a lot of great articles. There's a great New Yorker article. And then there's another article written by somebody that was really into the cycling scene. So knew a lot of the big players.
I totally know what you're talking about.
Yes. And it has been on Dateline recently, which I listened to. It's the night that time stopped. So a recent one.
I must have listened to it too because I always listen
It's
to
like
the new
Austin,
Dateline.
right? Austin, Texas.
Yeah.
And it was
Yep.
like right around
wow.
when we'd gone to Austin. It was really
Yeah.
close to that time.
Oh,
Exactly.
Because I was like, wow, Cassie, I can't believe you remembered that. But
I-
if we had just gone, okay.
Because I was almost did it once, but there wasn't enough
Yeah.
information out at the time. And
But
so,
now there is.
I'm
So I'm going to
ready.
talk to you guys about Caitlin Armstrong, Colin Strickland, and Mo Wilson. But first, I have to take you into the world of cycling.
Oh boy,
Yeah.
I cannot wait.
sit back,
So-
relax.
So I didn't
I'm
know.
passionate about
there's
cycling.
Many different types of cycling. First of all, like I'm not a bike rider. Like I just don't. It's not my cup of tea. But you know, there's like biking when you have the skinny wheels, and then there's cycling on like different surfaces and
Different
different kinds
terrains.
of
Yeah.
races and that kind of thing.
Yeah, mountain
So,
biking. Yeah.
Can we also just for a moment talk about how insane mountain biking is?
It sure
I
can
really
be.
thought about that the other
Yeah.
day, and I was just like, "That's the most insane thing I've ever fucking heard."
Yeah.
That you're like on a bike on like a trail in the mountains.
I have a simple rule for myself in that I don't tend to put myself on
You don't wanna get up.
things
Yeah.
that can propel me
Yeah.
faster than I can naturally go because I'm a very clumsy person. So cycling and that ilk. Those are things that
I
I
would
don't.
get
not for you,
distracted
okay?
and just bike right off the side of that mountain.
Yeah.
Truly.
Because I like a casual biking. You know what I am? I'm a beach biker. I'm a
like along
beach
the boardwalk.
along the boardwalk. Yeah, just looking
could
out
do
at the
that.
ocean, some fresh air, leisurely, a nice little workout at a leisurely pace.
This specific part of the cycling sport is called gravel cycling or gravel racing.
Sounds like a
And
knee
it's
scrape to me.
typically like
Me too.
50 to 100 to 200 mile long
Holy
races.
shit.
All I can think about is how much my vag would hurt.
Oh,
Oof.
You know?
Have you ever done spinning?
Yeah.
My vag hurts thinking about spinning.
Yeah.
I said spinning
Yeah.
and my whole body was like, oh, fuck.
my my saggy lips would get in the way.
Just wrap
Urge
themselves right around that seat.
Oh, God. Little extra cushion.
Anywho,
Do your lip sling. I love
the wobble to and fro. You tie him in a knot.
I really think it's in your head.
Oh my god.
We have not even started this story.
I know,
Okay,
I
sorry.
know.
Sorry,
Okay.
sorry. Okay.
So, Colin Strickland is a rising star in gravel cycling. Like he's been mountain biking. He's lived in Austin his whole life. His family were like organic farmers. They seem well off. He went to great schools. He's been biking since he was 2013. If you imagine what this guy looks like, you are spot on.
Okay.
Got it.
Yeah, I've got him in my head.
He's a biker dude, like cyclist, just really into organic farming and
Like a
building
Lance
things.
Armstrong vibe.
A little bit.
Give him
yeah,
blonde
yeah, yeah.
hair.
Very competitive. And
Yeah.
the thing with gravel cycling is it's a relatively new area of cycling. So it was wide open to become a star and get sponsors quite quickly because it wasn't as organized or competitive as like a world tour or some of these other like more traditional
street right? Yeah, street
cycling events. That's about as well as I can explain it.
racing. Okay.
So he's like really getting started in this in like 2017, 2018. He meets Amity Rockwell, which is another cyclist.
Amity Rockwell.
what a
great
fucking
name.
What
and
a
for
name.
a gravel rider, it sounds made up actually.
Yeah.
True.
It sounds like
Hey, you
somebody
know what,
wrote
guys?
it in a
I'm
book.
Rockwell.
Actually, it really does. It sounds like what a romance author would write.
100.
1000%.
I promise if you search for it, it actually probably exists. So, but she was like getting started in the sport and Colin like met her and he was already kind of like bigger in the sport. He's like, like come be part of our team and like, we'll get sponsors and all of this stuff. And she found him to be very manipulative, backhanded compliments. Like, she would be like, oh, I think I'd be really good at like uphills. And he's like, don't joke. You're not skinny enough for that.
Oh.
Like shit like that.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah.
You're
yeah.
negging me
Yeah.
while I'm
Sir.
trying to cycle?
Yeah. And they had like a
No.
brief affair, but she ended it. She's like, he is kind of just like a jerk. He's a really like kind of full of himself, cocky jerk. But in 2019, he wins his first big race. And that's when sponsors like Red Bull get involved. He ends up making a shit ton of money. And the sport, again, being new, relies on personality. So it really, now you really know this type of guy. He's got to be like, he has to have the Instagram influencer marketing, branding spot on to really like represent the sport and represent sponsors like Red Bull. Right? So Colin is like in his like early to mid 30s and he's like, all right, I'm starting to make it big. I own a house here in Austin. Like I download Hinge. So he's like looking for a partner. And that's when he meets Caitlin Armstrong. And Caitlin has an opposite background to him in a lot of ways. She's Midwestern. She has a strong background in finance. She's like really, really organized, really a go-getter in her own right and very into yoga. But they start dating in 2019. She's like, oh, I guess I'll try cycling and ends up like getting really, really
How
fucking
pissed
into
was
it
he about that?
as well.
But
But it's to me that it almost seems like she picked it up because it got it was a way for them to
bond.
connect.
Right.
Yeah.
Because they didn't have a lot of interests or overlapping things that would connect them. So by her
He just
getting into
seems like-
cycling,
He seems like the type of person who would resent her getting good at it.
Yeah. Oh, totally.
You know?
Yeah.
well, spoiler alert, she doesn't.
Oh,
and,
okay.
and he
All right.
he definitely lets her know that. so, but 2019, as we can all cast our minds back, quickly becomes 2020.
Oh.
And
no.
the
Oh, yeah.
pandy and the races like go away, that kind of thing. There's nothing to do but for Caitlin to help Colin, continue training. And soon she becomes decent enough that she's at least allowed to help him with his training.
Oh, thank goodness.
Thank you.
Oh,
And, he recognizes that she's like helping around the house. She helps his mom, like with the unemployment office, is like on hold for 5 days pretty much to try to help his mother out. They end up investing in property together. They open a business together where they're restoring like old trailers.
Man, what I've learned is I don't trust nobody.
nope.
Because I'm like, that's a lot of intertwining your lives.
Yeah,
Yep.
for somebody that's just like, somebody that seems ambivalent.
Yeah.
That you don't want to intertwine that
No,
much.
because you always got to think, if you get that entangled, you have to think about getting disentangled.
Untangled. That's
Right.
right.
Yes.
Yep.
I think that sometimes, and it kind of feels, and I do know a bit of the story, so I think it feels like maybe not clingy on her behalf, but it does feel like she is trying to tangle herself up with him.
Yeah.
to
That's
have
what
a
it felt like to
reason
me too.
To be there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh, never a good thing. Like if you have to do that, if he wants to, he will. Like you shouldn't
Truly.
have to do all that to hold on to a man,
Right.
to make it hard for that, to trap them, to make it hard for them to leave. If you want them to want to stay, and if they don't want to stay, then you should be happy, celebrate when they walk out the fucking door.
Exactly.
And yeah, there were a lot of instances where a lot of people in Colin's like he did not seem enthused about this relationship at all. He's not really involving her in his brand, so to speak, and is dismissive would be the best way that I could describe. I feel like the way that he was about his relationship with
Aloof.
Caitlin. So we'll definitely get into that
Okay.
later. So yeah, they're really, really intertwined. His friends thought that she was kind of clingy and like always like showing up to these cycling events, even though she's not really racing in them. She would race in like beginner ones sometimes, but her friends, however, thought that he was a jerk and like using her.
Well,
so yeah. 2021 in Bentonville, she ends up tagging along to a race. He had a new sponsor that had gifted him like this incredible kit. I don't know if that's clothing and stuff like that. And he had bought her one as a gift. And he's like, but listen, like, don't wear it to this event.
Uh-oh.
It would just be weird for me. And I don't know how the sponsor would like it. And she wears it anyways. And he chastises her in front of people. And she ends up like not racing that day or whatever, gets really upset. And they fight all the way home back to Austin and end up breaking up. So a few days later, fellow cyclist Moriah or Mo Wilson texts that she would end up being in Austin, that, do you want to hang out? That kind of thing. They had met each other at previous like races and that kind of thing. And Mo was this upcoming super dynamic star. She was from Vermont. She was one of these just naturally gifted athletes. Her background was downhill skiing, which is terrifying to me.
Terrifying to me.
Yeah.
You know what? Would you rather mountain biking, downhill skiing?
Mountain
Mountain
biking,
biking.
1,000.
Right. I think me too.
Yeah.
Something about like it's slippery. You're on sticks,
Going so
downhill,
fast.
going so
So
fast. I would
fast.
freak out.
Yeah.
No.
So she was also good at soccer. She was also good at cycling and had just started getting into gravel. So she's also 10 years younger So she was in her early 20s while they were in their early 30s. And she was just driven. So yeah, she was becoming a fast star. And Colin, because he was already a star in his own right and like had connections with sponsors, and it would be good for them to like get together, talk, and do business stuff. But it's clear that at this point, you know, Colin's like, he's single. One thing leads to another, and they end up like having a fling. They hang out at a local race where people know Caitlin. Like, she's been coming to these events, and cycling, I think, and especially this specific type.
Small knit
insert
circle, sure.
Local community theater, insert local, you know what I mean? Yeah. It becomes very
small
like
group.
Insular. Yeah.
People know each other. People talk, people gossip. It gets kind of incestuous. People get together, they break up, and then, you know what I mean? So it was a very, very familiar kind of situation for me, despite the fact that I'm not familiar with gravel cycling. So word gets out, of course, and Caitlin and Colin are still like living together at this point. They, Caitlin's staying in Colin's house while has bought another house that is being renovated, supposedly, but
yeah, you're entangled still.
Yeah, they're still entangled. This has only been like literally 2 days since they broke up.
Oh,
this is not long.
2 days.
Yeah. Yeah. So Caitlin ends up calling Mo and being like, stay away from Colin. Like, it's not okay. Like, because she's heard that they're hanging out and that kind of thing. And she calls and Mo ends up blocking her number. But the romance between Colin and Mo really only lasts about a week. And it kind of makes sense to me that Colin seems to be the one that backed away. They really don't seem compatible at all. Like, she's Mo's like driven young woman, like really just getting started and very like intense, but she's also like a little bit introverted too. And he's like an extrovert, just kind of go with the flow.
Yeah, they're not a match.
So
it's not a match.
They're not a match.
Yeah.
It was a fling after a breakup. And, over the holidays, Caitlin and Colin end up reconnecting. Like, Caitlin, being from Michigan, didn't have anywhere to go for Thanksgiving. So Colin's like, come on over. Like, it's fun. Like, everybody knows you. They end up reconnecting. But Colin still doesn't consider them a couple. So they go back to Bentonville again. And they all end up seated together for a dinner. Oh, Colin in the middle, Mo on one side, and Caitlin on the other.
You have to know whoever did that seating chart was messy as hell.
They're all like, watch
that
this.
That person was like, I choose chaos. Because you don't, it's like you said, in any community like that, you know what the fuck you're doing.
You know
that
what you're
doing. Not there are so many tables. How? He's going to end up in the middle between these two women? Get fucked.
Of all
that was intentional. Yes.
Yeah. So, I mean, it is awkward as hell. And it's obvious, too, that Colin hasn't really talked to Mo about what is going on. And there's not that much information about where or what he told Caitlin about what was going on. But at that weekend, there's a text from Mo to Colin being basically like, hey, I'm really confused about what we are. Like, if we're just friends, like, that's cool. Like, but can you, let me know? Because I'm kind of confused.
I thought he broke up with her.
Yeah.
Well, no.
No, he just backed away. Grow up.
Okay.
So he responds by not really responding.
Oh
He
my
just
God.
like,
Sounds
I'm sorry.
Grow up.
I'm sorry you're really confused, but doesn't clarify.
I'm sorry you feel that way.
I'm sorry you feel that way. So that's where they are at that point. But then finally, I guess Colin and Caitlin get back together officially in the spring. So Colin and Mo still see each other at events, and people still talk and are very messy. And, are letting people like, oh, no, Colin and Mo were like beside each other all night at this event, like that kind of thing. Beep, 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 beep. Like, And it's
This is real
obvious
small
that
town
it
energy.
Yeah.
bothers Caitlin because she's talked to her friends.
Well, of course it would.
And she's like, I'm really upset. And in that December that they had gotten back together, she had told Colin, like, I got into this road rage incident. Like, I don't feel really safe. And so Colin's like, we should get you a gun.
Oh.
So Colin buys her this like fucking pistol with these crazy bullets that do like so much damage. She's like, okay, great. You feel safe now. But early in 2022, when they're getting back together and she's still hearing all these rumors about Colin going to these professional races where Mo is like a rising star. She's winning races. She's getting noticed, that kind of thing. It's obviously making her feel very insecure because she's telling her friends like, I want to kill her. I want to fucking kill her.
Not.
What would you do?
Yeah.
I was just thinking this. I don't know if I would take somebody seriously because I think
don't
you're
know
like,
if I
oh,
would
I'd
either.
kill her. She's, and,
Yeah.
Oh,
If you're friends with somebody and it's like, and I'm thinking through the situation, it's like Caitlin's thinking like, okay, I finally got Colin back. Like I've won him back, but she knows that we're together and she's trying to steal my man.
Guys, this man ain't shit.
Yeah.
Like
No, when you see the picture,
not worth going to jail over.
no.
In fact, no man worth going to jail over.
No.
Okay?
not one.
Truly.
Not one.
Not a single one.
So meanwhile, she's like, again, like Colin is still not including Caitlin in his cyclist
Reindeer
life.
games.
Not really. Yeah, exactly. He had said things to his friends like, oh, we're together because I have to see past stupid things like the clothes she wears.
What?
That's a direct
You're
quote.
gonna shoot somebody for this man?
This man? This is your
And
man?
here's the kicker. Here's another quote. There were a lot of people that I could have been spending the last 3 years with.
Okay, well, go spend the time with them then. I hate this mentality with people like this because I'm just like, if that's truly how you feel and you have to look past all this shit, nobody is holding you fucking hostage.
Yeah.
Like if you want to
Go
go. But the truth of it is you like having somebody around who is dedicated to you in this way, shows this much devotion to you that you can treat like shit. So you are not a victim in this situation. If you wanted to go, you would go. And in fact, if you were a decent fucking human being, you would go.
Yeah,
Truly.
because it's like you obviously can tell that this person cares deeply for you, and you can't be. He just seemed like ambivalent towards her at best.
Well, and indifference is the worst. Like someone that you love being indifferent towards you, it would be preferable to have a stronger emotion than indifference because that is so fucking hurtful.
And it's like his in one of the articles I read that was written by somebody that knew him was saying a lot of his friends were saying like, you guys are in like your mid 30s, like this isn't fair to her. Like it's obvious that she's ready to settle down and do they had property together. They have fucking
and
a
why
business
would
together.
he do all of that?
Right.
Like why are you digging yourself deeper into this?
If you're not serious about it, then let her go. Find somebody that would be serious.
Right. And I mean,
about
I think
her.
I know the direction that this is going in. So it's not this, none of this is justifying anything or taking any heat off of her or anything. But it is just one of those things where I just don't understand people who live like this. Like I get it. Breaking up is hard to do. It is not an easy thing, but if you are actively shit talking your partner to everyone, you are actively telling everyone, that, including them, that you think that you're better than them and deserve something better than them, then there's the fucking door.
Go fucking find better then. Go find better. Bye.
So May 7th of 22 was another race where he again like puts her down. And like they end up having breakfast together with like some of his friends and they're laughing and joking. And then he records a podcast interview right afterward where he's basically implying that he's single and, just and his friends are like weirded out because they're like, we just had breakfast with you and your girlfriend that you live with. Like,
it's like
weird
sociopath behavior. It's so weird.
Yeah. So then May 11th, Mo is actually back in Austin. There's another race that's happening, and she's staying with her friend, Caitlin Cash. So she texts me like, hey, do you want to like meet up and talk about this race, blah, blah, blah. That's when he opens it and he's like, deletes their text thread, stores her as a different name in his phone, and begins texting with her that way. So that, because he knows that Caitlin has been through his phone before and doesn't want to cause any drama.
Okay, if you don't want to cause drama, don't cause drama.
Don't be no drama.
Yeah. Yeah. Don't start shit. There won't be no shit, right?
That's exactly right.
Messy. Who knew the world of gravel cycling? Messy.
Messy. So he goes on his BMW motorcycle and he picks her up.
Sorry, it's so funny. I thought you were going to say BMX, and then you said
BMX, which is worse. BMW motorcycle picks her up, and they go to this place called the Deep Eddy, which is like a pool, and they're hanging out at the pool for a little bit. And then they go and get burgers and drinks afterwards. And then
So a date.
Yeah. So a date.
They go on a date.
They go on a date.
Okay.
Exactly. And then he drops her off at her apartment. And then he texts Caitlin, his live-in girlfriend, oh, hey, I was just dropping off some flowers for Allison, flowers being euphemism for weed. Like, are you home? Do you want to meet up? And then drives back home. So about an hour later, Caitlin gets home. She's wearing yoga gear and carrying a yoga mat. And, but, you know, they just kind of catch up or whatever. This is a really disturbing part. So trigger warning. I don't know why this is triggering for me, but it kind of is. She ends up initiating sex with him that night in a way that is very different from her normal
behavior
cadence, I guess, in that she becomes very forceful and dominating, which ends up being like very traumatic for Colin later on, considering like
what happens.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So later that night, there's a press conference because a young woman has been found murdered in a friend's apartment. Caitlin Cash does come home and ends up finding Mo on the bathroom floor. She's unresponsive, and she has 3 gunshot wounds. And she has passed away. So police are like, okay, well, you know, do you know what she was doing? She's like, yeah, she was going out with her friend Colin that day. So they're like, okay, great. Let's pick up Colin and, you know, see what's going on. They're like, do you know Anna? Her name is actually Anna Moriah Wilson. Do you know Anna Wilson? He's like, no. They're like, oh, well, maybe Mo, that kind of thing. He's like, oh, yeah, I know her, that kind of thing. They're like, well, she was murdered last night around like 8:30, 9 o'clock at night. And he's like, he gives them the whole story. Like, we did this. I dropped her off at the motorcycle. Meanwhile, police are looking, and they're on security footage, and they see a Jeep with like a bike rack and like certain things on the security footage, basically pulling up to Mo's friend's apartment at around the same time that she's been dropped off. And then they look in the garage and there's that Jeep. So they're like, sir, can you come with us kind of thing? And they're talking with him. Meanwhile, they're checking his alibi. They find other security footage of him driving the motorcycle. So they're like, okay, well, he's obviously not driving both at the same time. Right. So let's talk to your girlfriend, Caitlin. Like, do you think she's capable? Something like that. He's like, absolutely not. Like, it's crazy. Like, she would never hurt anybody. She's so nice. So police end up looking at Caitlin and they're like, oh, conveniently, she already has a warrant out for her arrest because in 2018, she went to get Botox. And there was a bill for $683.
Girl.
She skipped out on it.
Girl.
Yeah. Right? What
are you doing?
So they arrest her and bring her down to the station. But due to some kind of incompetence or error or something, they don't think the warrant is valid for some reason. So she doesn't say that much to them. And they're like, oh, well, then you're free to go.
It was like a name. There was like something
like
wrong
a
with
date
the
of
name.
birth.
Yeah, something really.
Oh yeah, I do remember that from the Dateline now. It was something very like trivial. Yeah.
Yeah. So she's like, okay, well, I'm going home then. So she gets home and like her and Scott Colin spend a very sleepless night together.
I bet.
And
bet.
The next morning, Caitlin's like, I don't want to talk in the house just in case they've bugged it. Let's go get coffee. And so Colin's like,
bitch, I'm bugging it. I'm turning phone recording is coming on.
Already on.
And he's like, where were you? And she's like, oh, I was like at yoga or whatever last night. And
that'd be so easily provable. You have to come up with a different alibi.
I was doing yoga in the park.
Right.
Yeah.
Alone.
At
a park I never go to.
Yes. And I drove past this street in order to get there.
Right.
I took the long way around. Yeah, exactly.
We should not be giving these ideas that way.
No.
But their lawyers had basically told them it would be better if you spent some time apart.
Yeah.
So Colin's like, I'm going to go stay with my dad. And she's like, well, I'm going to go buy a new phone because they've taken our phones. And then she dips.
Skedaddles.
Kid gets out of town.
Up and leaves.
Up and left. She's like, takes that car to CarMax. She's like, here you go. Sells that Jeep and absconds. And so the police a couple days later are able to match like the ballistics. They're like, it was Caitlin Armstrong. So let's go actually arrest her now. And she is gone. She is not to be found. And so they're scouring everywhere. They do end up finding her on a flight from Austin to New York. And she's just, she's got a mask on because it is still COVID time. And her yoga mat. So they're like, okay.
Girl, leave the yoga mat. Why are you traveling with it?
Yeah. You never know where yoga pops off.
She's obviously in a very stressful situation. she might need to relieve some stress.
Exactly.
We're laughing, but I mean,
it's awful.
It's awful and so serious. Like that poor woman, like she had her whole life ahead of her.
Yeah.
She just, who in their early 20s didn't get involved with like a shitty man.
Yeah,
you know what
truly.
I mean? And like, it should have just been a blip on the radar of her life, and instead it derailed.
But obviously, this
horrible
person was like really not a sound mind at all, and so it's just terrible. But so then they're like, "Who does she know in New York?" Which I'm like, how did this bitch escape charges? Her younger sister, who lives there, gives her her passport.
Oh, yeah.
Because I'm like, is that not aiding and abetting?
I feel like there are charges that could be pressed for that. Yeah.
Anyways, so she takes her passport and then she goes to Costa Rica. So the cops are like, how are we going to find this bitch in Costa Rica? And they're like, well, she obviously loves yoga.
Oh, yeah.
So they're searching yoga retreats, of which there are many in Costa Rica. And they finally find her. She's living in like a hostel, and she responded to a message basically asking for a yoga instructor.
Didn't she get plastic surgery too?
Yes.
Yes, that's right.
She did. Her hair was different. Her nose was different. She had like $6,000 some dollars in plastic surgery.
You spend $6,000 on plastic surgery and you can't give up the yoga?
Yeah.
You know? Like...
Yeah.
She was going by a different name, all of this.
She was going on dates and that kind of thing.
Right.
So, yeah.
Wow.
So, yeah, basically they find her, they arrest her, and they extradite her. But that's June 29th. And then October 11th of 2023, she goes and tries to get away again. She tries to run out of this medical office in her fucking...
That to me is the
handcuffs.
funniest. That's the funniest thing. When somebody tries to like...
Ma'am.
You know, again, Ted Bundy did it first, and everybody was like, well, he got away with it a couple times. I could probably figure that out.
Run off. I'll figure it out.
With your hands cuffed already, but I just, okay.
Yeah, how are you... Who's gonna...
No.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then November 16th of 2023, she is found guilty for the murder of Mo Wilson and receives 90 years. in prison. So yeah, she gone.
Yeah.
And June 17th of this year, 2024, she was found liable civilly and owes the family $15 million. You can go down a Reddit rabbit hole, and I did, of people who are like, oh yeah, I cycled with both of them, and you know,
Jesus.
Colin's a piece of shit.
Well,
like that kind
That's
of thing.
evident.
Tell me.
And I did look a lot to try to find what Colin is doing now. His sponsors dropped him.
Yeah.
And as far as I know, he is not cycling any longer. But that is the tragic story of the murder of Mo Wilson.
Wow.
And also a lesson to maybe not be careless with other people's
That's right.
emotions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
Rarely
you
ends well.
never know the consequences of that.
Right.
So,
Yep. Wow. I hope he's reformed.
yeah.
I hope that changed him.
I
Yeah.
hope he never has another date for the rest of his life.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, again, definitely want to reiterate the main baddie in this story
Of course.
is
Yeah.
Caitlin Armstrong.
for sure.
Because no matter what Colin did, that's no excuse
True.
at all. So it's definitely, I don't say any of that to excuse
No.
Right.
Caitlin's behavior.
Multiple things can be true at once.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He can be an asshole, and she, obviously, what she did is unforgivable and
Yeah.
completely unwarranted, and someone lost their life because of it, and that's terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah, but his
like,
carelessness
Colin is not
hasn't-
legally guilty.
That's right.
He does bear some responsibility, I feel,
Yeah.
in this story.
Yeah.
And I hope that he feels it too.
Yeah. If he
Yeah.
doesn't, he's like, actually, there's something.
Truly wrong with him. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, anyways, well, what are you guys watching this week?
Okay. So this was actually recommended to me by a few people, including Sienna, if she's listening, shout out. But it had been recommended to me that I watch America's Sweethearts, which was the Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders series on Netflix. And I was just like, you know what? I just want to kind of like put something on. Literally, I was like, I want to kind of put something on I can zone out to. Girl, I did not zone
Riveted.
out. I watched the entire season over the course of 2 days. Like I watched the whole thing, and I was invested in these ladies. I will tell you what, like I truly, and this show, I mean, there's something so like sweet and wholesome. It's basically kind of like Hard Knocks, but for the Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders. And there's something so beautiful about it. It really does simultaneously, I think in the same way that Barbie does, kind of like highlights the most beautiful, wonderful things about being a woman, and also the most like
worst.
difficult, horrible things.
Yeah.
Like the way that you're constantly, you know, nitpicked at and judged for your appearance, and like all of the, and you know, people feel like they have ownership over your body because of like what you're wearing or how you're presenting yourself.
Yeah.
But then also the way that team really felt like when you're drunk in a bathroom, like in a bar bathroom, where everybody is just so like sweet and supportive and loving to each other. And I was just like, that is girlhood. And
Yeah.
I was watching it just being like, I do love being a woman. I was like, this is so lovely.
Yeah.
Because women are just so outwardly expressive of like how much they love and care for each other, and we're
Yeah.
allowed to be. And I think that that's really beautiful. So the show, highly recommend it. You know,
Nice.
it had some very Dallas, Texas, you know, it was very Christian in a lot of ways, but like I still enjoyed it very, very much.
Nice. What about you, Cass?
I watched the series on Netflix, Black Doves.
Oh yeah.
It was
Is that
good.
Keira Knightley?
Yes.
Isn't that?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
It was like a book I couldn't put down. Like we just flew through it. It's so good, and I hope there's another season. I think there will be. It was really good, but I love that kind of espionage and you
Yeah,
know,
love it.
Yeah,
Awesome.
I also love Keira Knightley.
Me too.
I do too. She was amazing. Everybody did a really great job. Actually, it was a really good, really well
Nice.
put together. Yeah.
Well, I got one of Eric's presents this year was because you cannot find it streaming. You really can't. The entire box set of Star Trek: The Next Generation,
What?
which was such like a integral part of both of our childhoods.
Yes.
Like we grew up watching it, and we were feeling nostalgic, and we're like, oh, let's put on Next Generation like a couple months back. And we looked for it like on every streaming channel.
Wild.
You can't find it.
That is wild.
And so I was like, well, that's just something that we need to own. So we've been plowing our way through
So good.
the first season of Star Trek. So
I just remember like whatever night I came on, I just remember that night, like as soon as like my dad and I immediately into the living room. It was just like our watch.
Yeah. And I can't believe, I mean, that's what TV used to be too. Like 22 episode seasons, 1 hour.
And you got it every year. And now it's just like the new season of Squid Game just came out. And I was like, I have to rewatch the last season because it's been like 2.5 years. I don't remember what happened.
Yeah. Exactly.
No, I tried to do this with Bridgerton too.
It drives me crazy. It does drive me. I lose interest where I'm like, you know.
I don't remember like what's happening. Yeah, like Severance is coming back.
Yep. And I have to rewatch.
Really?
Is it a ploy to make us
definitely
rewatch?
Feels like 3 years ago.
It was like 2 years ago.
2 years ago. Yeah, maybe more.
Is it a ploy to make us have to restream the entire first season?
I don't know, but I'm like, we used to be able to do this. How do we not do this anymore?
I know that the writer's strike got in the way. Like the strikes got in the way, but I'm like, did it slow it down this much?
I think that there's that, and then there's also, I mean, we personally know whose show finally got picked up, but there's a lot of negotiations. I don't know why I said it like that. Between whether they're going to pick up another season or not. So then by the time they finally decide they're going to pick up another season, it's like,
well, they got to get it together.
It is. It's annoying.
The viewers are like getting restless.
Fatigued.
I mean, honestly, that's why we're all
because of this.
Yeah. That's why we're all rewatching things that we've seen before.
Yeah. or just saying
reality.
like, I don't want to invest that much time into it. So no, I'm not going to do it. Yeah. Well, Cassie, do you think you're a snobby bitch?
Yes.
Yes. Honestly, we should all get matching snobby bitch tattoos.
Yes.
Merch idea. Well, if you guys have something that we should watch, if you have a terrible date story, if you just want to reach out and say hello, and also to give us some merch suggestions, go to our one-stop shop of a website. It's myworstdatepodcast.com. And we love you so much. Cheers.